Okay, welcome.
Sorry about that.
No, this is to tell our viewers what my brother has to put up with. I just promised him I would keep my mouth shut, and then as soon as the live came on, I'm yakking away. Anyway, welcome to Fan Flak again. We're going to be talking about all kinds of paranormal stuff today, and some other worldly stuff, UFOs and Chupacabra, and heaven knows what else. So,
And if you want us to talk about something else, send us a message. Tell us.
Message us.
We have all sorts of background information, and we can come up with a story about anything.
Yeah, it's true. My trip to Disneyland went great. Thank you very much. There were, however, 8 billion people there.
Only a billion?
Oh, yeah. We're talking, and I'm standing there in the Star Wars area trying to look at the signs, trying to figure out what the hell that says. And the only time I got to talk to a cast member was when one of them came up and said, "Here, you see the little thing that you scan?" Like, do you know how many old people there probably are? He says, "Yes, I know." So you can't tell what things are by the signs on the outside of the places in the Star Wars village. So I guess it's called Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't been to it. I haven't been to Disneyland since it opened.
Reopened.
Well, no, since Galaxy's Edge opened.
Oh, okay.
And I have been to Galaxy's Edge, but I've been to the one in Florida. And did you get to ride either one of the rides in the Galaxy's Edge?
I couldn't ride anything because of my knee.
Oh, even the not the Millennium Falcon, but the other one. That one really wasn't. You just ride around the scooter kind of thing. It wasn't really.
It was so. What was it? 120 minutes. And when I got
the line,
past, it was ridiculous. So I ended up just not. I really just wanted to see it. And I got a corn dog.
They're not as big as they used to be.
No, they're not, but they're still good, and they taste terrific. So I had corn dog, I had Dole Whip.
They used to be like that long. Yeah. And they're not anymore.
No, but the Dole Whip is just as good. So
except it's hollow.
Oh well, yeah. So's the moon. So.
Well, I haven't been to the moon. I've had a Dole Whip, and I know it's hollow.
Yeah. The Dole Whip was really good. But anyway, we lost our only viewer, so I'm sure we have more people on YouTube. What's that?
I didn't even notice it was on one.
Yeah, it was.
We had somebody.
I think we had Nancy up there, and she gave up on it. That's okay.
What was that girl, Kim?
Kim, yeah.
That was watching us for a while.
She followed us over on YouTube also. So. Anyway,
Now,
let me do a
just
little
to just to show you before we go on, I
right.
am now a legitimate member.
MUFON.
This cost me $180. So
Yikes.
so
And
if
I
I
thought,
talk about UFOs, I'm a card carrying UFO
oh,
enthusiast.
I got you. Well, I am not. The only thing I belong to is the Robert Anton Wilson group. Um,
I beg
but
your pardon. You're a member of the Bobby Benton fan club.
I was. I'm
He's
sure
still
I'm not
alive, isn't
anymore.
he?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Well, he should have a fan club.
Well,
But he's got to be in his 80s.
oh yeah, easy. I mean, I'm 62, so he was. He's got to be almost 90. So, and Bobby was a nice guy. We met him, but anyway,
And Mitch Vogel. How old is Mitch Vogel? He's got to be
he's 4 years older than I am.
okay.
So
So
he's
he's the same
62.
age as me.
Yeah, he's the only living actor from Bonanza, and everybody else is no more. So,
Yep.
anyway, although Pernell Roberts hung in there a long time. He
Well,
was
the first one to die, I think, was Hop Sing, wasn't it? The
no,
guy that played Hop Sing.
no, Dan Blocker.
Oh, that's right. He died right after the show ended. I
No,
mean,
he died during the show.
oh, really? I thought he
Yeah,
died after it ended.
nope, he died during the show. He's one of the reasons it was canceled. And then after him was Lorne Green, who died of the same thing, oddly enough, which was a blood clot during a gallbladder surgery.
Well, they did a lot of filming out where the nuclear tests
Yeah.
were done.
Well, that might explain Michael Landon. He died of cancer that was fairly substantial.
He died of prostate cancer.
Yeah. And it had continued for a while. But anyway, enough of my background. I'm not a MUFON member, but yeah, Mark is. And I have a little thing to say about a couple of people who've been dogging on the ghost shows. Now, the ghost shows are.
Here, wait a second. Let me remove myself from the screen so you can have the whole screen for this. When you're done, I'll come back in.
Okay.
Because I know this is something important.
Okay. All right. I don't know if it's all that important, but there's a fellow named Lloyd Auerbach, to whom I've actually spoken and met him once. He, to his credit, was a longtime Dark Shadows aficionado and has met Catherine Scott and Laura Parker, I believe. But he has been ragging on these ghost shows. And the people involved on the ghost shows are legitimate, well-meaning people. Now, a lot of what they do is probably not evidential. However, there are a couple of shows that are quite good. One of them is Kindred Spirits. But, the ghost adventures and stuff like that. Ugh. But I have something to tell you about Dr. Auerbach, Mr. John F. Kennedy University graduate, along with all the other ones. Barry Taff and a few of them have come out of there with all their PhD credentials. Let me tell you about Lloyd Auerbach. Lloyd was busted by the Ghost Hunters group for faking various supposed haunting activity at a bar. And he was open about it, I guess. according to other people, but I had never heard it when it happened. And the ghost hunters people found the mechanisms behind this guy's fakery. So if we're going to be picking on the ghost hunters and the other ghost shows, we ought to be honest about our own background. And I have a real problem with debunking of any kind nowadays, because in the situation we're in now, there is only one of two opinions. You either believe in an afterlife or odd phenomena, or you don't. And if you don't, you have no part debunking anything, because you don't see it. It's not there as far as you're concerned. So why are you going to be looking for it? And don't tell me any of this nonsense about, oh, I wish I could believe in an afterlife. No, you don't. I've had a couple of you tell me that, honestly. One of whom said, and I quote, I don't want to be around that long. And I said, well, maybe you will be. And he was just aghast. Another skeptic told me that UFOs were dangerous to discuss. So, yeah, I mean, these guys, the debunkers, skepticism is good. We should all be skeptical. But debunkers are another thing entirely. And they have no voice, in my opinion, in the paranormal realm. Okay, Mark, you can come back now.
I'm back. I listened to what you had to say. I just thought you was something you were stressing that you wanted to say, so that's why I gave you the stage.
Thank you. It's just very funny to me that the preliminary, the first ghost show debunked Lloyd Auerbach, but he doesn't bring that up. He just goes out attacking.
Did I just hear Larry say who?
Nope.
I could have sworn when you said Lloyd Auerbach, I could have sworn I heard Larry say who.
Nope. Okay.
But
we have two viewers now.
So. All right. Just to tell you guys, my situation. I lost my wife a couple of years ago. She died right before Christmas in 2020. And something I have just decided is that I am going to believe in the afterlife. I am going to believe that I will see my wife when I die. And I believe it. I don't hope. I know that's what's going to happen. Because whatever kind of feeling makes you feel better, why not just believe it? You know what I mean? It's not going to hurt any. When I die, I'm not going to know one way or the other if there isn't any afterlife. I'm not going to know. So if there is one, then I'll get what I want. So you might as well just believe the thing that makes you feel comfortable.
And that's
what I decided.
That's what makes me upset with these debunkers. Nobody knows. They only have their opinion. And if they don't believe, then they have no voice. They have no dog in the hunt.
Well, I saw a special on Discovery probably a year or so ago, and they had like 30 people who had all died and had been brought back, either with shock in their heart or whatever they did. They actually died, were dead for like 5 minutes, and they were able to bring them back, and all of them talked about an afterlife.
Yep.
Talked about seeing dead family members and the light, and that there was a door to a beautiful place. And, all 30 of them, there wasn't one that
Yeah.
said that that didn't happen. So that's got to at least make you think, even if you're skeptical, you got to think that, there might be something to this.
That's really something, because there have been a couple of wide-ranging near-death experience studies that proved, for instance, there was a woman who uh, went up above the surgical theater and could see things in different places in the room. And they verified that those things were there. So
I saw that, Joe. It was a doctor who did the study,
yeah,
because he had noticed a lot of his patients who he had brought back had memories of things that occurred during the time period while they were dead.
there was also a case. This is a wild one. A woman whose husband's spirit rushed over and just compelled her to go in and tell them to keep trying to bring him back. And she went in and just forced them to keep going. And they brought him back. And he verified that he had had an afterlife experience and had gone in and saw himself compelling his wife to go in. Now, how do you explain that any other way?
Yeah.
And I am a skeptical person. I look at things very critically. There is absolutely no way I can talk myself around the 3 messages I got from my little sister.
Well, the text I got from Beverly.
Exactly.
How do you explain that? There was there was nothing in the text. It was just a blank text. But I had gotten rid of that phone number. I had gone to the AT&T place and switched the phone over to my daughter's number because her son had dropped her phone in the toilet and ruined it. So I gave her mother's phone after her mother passed away, and I switched it to my daughter's phone number. So there's literally no way somebody could have called me from that other number. And yet it popped up 2 times. It popped up.
You don't know this, but I called Spectrum just because I wanted a critical eye or a critical ear on this. And I told them what happened in your instance and in my situation. And they said there is no way that happened within the system. So
I still have both the texts saved on my phone.
yeah, I have a picture of her call on mine, and it just amazes me that I said to her, if this is really you, and this was several days later, if this is really you and you can hear me, let me see your number again on my telephone. And as God is my witness, I picked up the phone, I looked at it, and her number was on it. So, you debunkers out there, explain that one to me.
Well, they probably never had anything like that happen to them,
Exactly.
so they're skeptical. I'm skeptical.
So,
I am absolutely skeptical. But
don't be
like
ridiculous.
like I said, there are things that just make me feel better inside to believe. And you can try all you want to talk me out of it, but I'm not gonna change my mind. It makes me feel good to think that I will see my wife when I die. So that's what I'm gonna believe. And if you don't like it, sorry. We're down to 1 person.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, we have a comment. We have a comment.
Oh, I can't see them. Let me see.
I don't know what this means.
I saw Austin Powers today. Okay. We had an actor on who led a production of A Christmas Carol last Christmas with the cast of Dark Shadows.
Oh,
And Richard Halpern is his name, and he's a lovely fellow. He's a very good actor, and he just nabbed booked as they say. He just booked a job playing, I think, Agnew. So
Sparrow.
yeah.
Explain to me how I Saw Austin Powers fits into that.
He has an act, as most actors do, where he plays Austin Powers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand that. Thank you, Jessica.
Thing, yeah.
Thank you for watching our show.
Thank you, Jessica. I think she's gone now.
Well, there's still one person left up there.
Yeah.
It doesn't say who it is, though.
Yeah.
I wish it would tell you who it was.
Well, it's one of my buddies. So.
All right. Well, why don't I go in and play some of? I have a few videos. One of them kind of interesting. It's about a paranormal thing, something I actually believe in. So let me play that one for you.
Okay, go for it.
Well, this all went down in broad daylight late last week. While cruising for troublemakers, the deputies come across what they think could be the legendary Chupacabra.
I'm seeing it, but I don't believe it. It's in the daytime.
A DeWitt County deputy in training reacts to seeing what just may be
a Chupacabra.
How crazy is that?
I've been patrolling these back roads for a long time, and I've never run across anything like this until that day.
Last Friday, hours before sunset, Corporal Brandon Riedel and his partner were checking fence lines near Cuero when they stumbled across the alleged creature of the night.
We came around a corner and saw this running down the road.
Riedel says it's hairless with a long snout, short front legs, and long back legs.
It's just strange.
Noticing the unique photo op, he turned on his squad car's dash cam.
So I hit the record button, and it was just, this is what we got.
What they got has the deputies and even Sheriff Jody Vasky baffled.
It's amazing. We still don't know what it is.
Some believe the thing that eventually disappeared into the brush could be the legendary goat sucker himself, the Chupacabra. Riedel says it's about the size of a coyote, but when he froze the video and saw its profile,
I knew it wasn't a coyote.
He tells us it looks a lot like this creature found dead in Cuero last year. It was first believed to be a Chupacabra, but tests at Texas State showed it was some sort of coyote. The sheriff believes the beast caught on tape may be the same thing, but as Cuero receives national attention and quickly becomes the Chupacabra capital of the world, this lawman admits anything is possible.
I love this for DeWitt County. It has brought a lot of attention to us. We're not near ready to put this one to bed yet.
The sheriff believes the video may start a new rash of Chupacabra sightings in his county. He tells us he is willing to work with credible researchers who want to look at the video and help solve this mystery.
Well, in looking at it, I had thought it was a coyote because I'm from California, and when you see something that looks like that, it tends to be a coyote. But I did notice the long snout in that. And you had said, what was the DNA result?
They found the same type of animal in a different area, and they did a DNA test on it, and it came up to be a crossbreed between a coyote and a Mexican wolf. I'm not sure what a Mexican wolf looks like, how it looks different than our wolves, and they said that they have found evidence that it bites the animals on the neck and drinks their blood, but it doesn't eat their flesh, which is very unusual. Certainly not a coyote. Coyotes don't do that.
No.
So, and I know this video was from 2008, but there have been sightings right up until now. I saw 2 or 3 other ones, but this had the best video of a live animal, so that's why I captured that one to show. But I think there is a chupacabra. I mean, I wish.
Is that a chupacabra?
Yeah, it is doing all the things that the legend of the chupacabra says they do.
Yep.
It's sucking their blood out. It's attacked goats and chickens. So, hey.
Well, if they have managed to find huge wolves and dire wolf-sized wolves and stegosaurus on Skinwalker Ranch, then the jury's permanently out on this.
They showed the footage up on the mesa, and they found tracks. Yeah. And what was weird, and I don't know about this, it said that it was human footprints, barefoot human footprints, and it turned into a wolf footprints, but that the prints were 3 feet apart. It would have to be a huge animal.
But that was from the Bigelow era.
Yeah, it would have to be a huge animal to have a 3-foot gate. I mean, you'd be talking about something big.
But every single thing on that show, you sit there and go, huh? So, I don't know. Maybe there's a 30-foot wolf around. I don't know.
Well, then it would have to have the portals and all of that stuff, because if it was just a normal, just happened to be a big wolf, you would see it. They've got drones. They've got, they're all over that property. They've got cameras. Yep. If it was just a standard, normal animal, they would have all sorts of footage of it.
Yes, yeah. Well, maybe that's the answer to Bigfoot. And of course, most of the Bigfoot people will cringe when I say that, but it answers all of the problems with the evidence line when you're talking about Sasquatch. And if it's some kind of interdimensional teddy bear or something, who knows?
Well, there's been a couple of shows I've seen where they suggest that the Bigfoot is like a slave to the aliens.
Yeah.
That
who knows?
He does. They send him out to do work for them. So I don't know. I mean, there was an episode of the X-Files that was kind of like that. They had these aliens that kidnapped these kids, and there was one of the aliens was a guy in a costume.
Yeah.
And he had been abducted by real aliens.
I remember that.
You remember that?
That was the joy of X-Files, is it had such a sense of humor. That
because they're in a cage, and then they see the alien in the cage, and they're like, what are you doing? Oh, what the hell's going on? He rips the head off. And then there's this big monster outside the cages who's like working for the aliens.
Yeah.
So that kind of made me think, but it doesn't look like Bigfoot, but that it was the same idea. Okay, let me play.
Yep.
Connor's awake. He's eating
popcorn. Okay, hang on just a second.
Connor's awake. He's eating popcorn.
I'm sorry?
Connor's awake. He's eating popcorn.
Okay.
Hi, Al.
Yeah, they're leaving. She was just telling me that Connor is watching TV and eating popcorn.
Ah, good. Okay.
All right, let me play some more here.
Okay.
I've got all this stuff saved up. All right, where is it? All right, now this is all about Ring doorbells. Any of you who are interested in the paranormal, have seen thousands of these Ring doorbell footages. Don't even bother watching Ring doorbell stuff. It's a lousy camera. The frame rate doesn't work good at all. People vanish if they walk too fast. And look back at the sidewalk on this video I'm going to play for you. Somebody walks along the sidewalk, and then to the right, just before he vanishes behind a bush, he disappears. And this is not anything paranormal. This is caused by the frame rate on the camera. So I'll play that for you. Okay, I don't know if you could see it or not, but
Well, I
it
did.
was there.
Unfortunately, that's a major problem, and some of the low-tech early security systems have the same issue. However, the later ones have turned up some interesting evidence. So, but you always have to be critical. The simplest reason is usually the answer, but not always.
All right,
It doesn't
now
have to be the answer.
I'm going to play you an old commercial. One that it's a very old commercial. It's so old that the Lone Ranger and Tonto were still alive. So here we go. Here we go. Go.
Have pizza, pizza, pizza roll. 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 Up to now I'm frozen appetite was a dreadful bomb. It was something you just picked up to a party bomb. Suddenly Regina picked a roll here to save the day. Appetizers now at like available. That's why they say have pizza, pizza, pizza roll.
I'd like to talk to you about that music you're using.
That's funny. I've been meaning to speak to you people about the same thing.
Have a pizza roll, Kimasabi.
Look for Gino's pizza rolls and serve this new hors d'oeuvre.
Just take them out of the freezer, pop them in the oven for 10 minutes. That's it.
Who was that masked man anyhow?
I don't know. And I wanted to thank him. Pizza roll!
I loved the Jay Silverheels thing, and that the part of that was wonderful. That was an actual Indian actor playing Indian. And by the way, please don't message me again saying you should say Native American. I'm 1/5 Native American. So is Mark. Everybody says Indian. Okay, so get off of it.
We are Apache Indians.
No, we are Cherokee.
No. Well, hang on now, because Grandma's like great-grandfather or something, Daddy's great-grandfather was an Indian agent in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And Arkansas, the tribe that's in Arkansas is the Apaches.
Yeah, but we're primarily Cherokee.
Well, I didn't know that. I'll have to look into what you say.
Well, you know where the family
Because you know more than I do about that. But I'd always thought they were Apaches because he was an Indian agent on the Apache reservation.
Yeah. But we don't even know for sure if he was Apache.
Well, they were primarily relocated to Arkansas. So
yeah, that's true. That is true. So I'm sure that
Melanie knows more than I do about that kind of stuff. So she's probably
our
right.
genealogy is so vast in the U.S. or in the.
Are you saying I'm fat?
Oh, shut up. So vast.
I know. I'm kidding.
I know. In this country, that we are related to several presidents and a couple of princesses over in Great Britain, a couple of queens, and I mean the royal kind, not the Fred Mercury type. Although I wish I was related to him, because then I'd have guts and be able to sing. But we have tons of people, and it's almost impossible to follow every line. Some of ours go back to the 500s, so such is life. Anyway, I just love that, though, with Jay Silverheels, because he was allowed to do the it was sort of the embodiment of the old joke about, it looks like we're done for, Tonto. And what do you mean?
What do you mean, we, Paleface?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the old joke. There's another one that's kind of nasty about the Lone Ranger peeing. I don't know if you ever heard that one. And he got bit by a snake.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So he sends Tonto to the doctor, and he asks the doctor, and the doctor tells him he has to cut an X on the wound and then suck the poison out. So he goes back to the Lone Ranger, and the Lone Ranger said, "What'd the doctor say?" And he says, "Him say you're gonna die."
You see what happens to damaged youth in California.
Yep.
Anyway.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I have some more videos.
Go for it.
Okay, here we go. And this one, you'll hear me talking in the background. Sorry, I goofed.
Get him Dr. Ross dog food, do him a favor. It's got more meat and it's got more flavor. It's got more meat to make him feel the way he should.
Dr. Ross dog food is doggone good.
Fido knows best. Fido knows best.
Yes, Dr. Ross dog food has more meat, more flavors. 4 tempting flavors: meat, liver, chicken, and cheese. Keeps appetites sharp, provides insurance against malnutrition and loss of energy. Just like human beings, dogs want food with more flavor. Feed your dog the Dr. Ross variety diet with meat, liver, chicken, and cheese flavors. All 4 flavors have more lean red meat with just the right amount of fresh garden vegetables and especially selected cereals. You just can't buy a better dog food. Buy it, try it. The Dr. Ross variety diet.
Okay. Here's my problem with that commercial. It's pitched to the dog to make you feel the way you should.
No, it says him.
Yeah.
To make him feel the way he should.
I think it says you. Can we hear it again?
Yes, we absolutely can hear it again. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's see what he says.
Get him Dr. Ross dog food, do him a favor. It's got more meat and it's got more flavor. It's got more meat to make him feel the way he should.
Dr. Ross dog food is doggone good.
Fido knows best. Fido knows best.
I give. It's
I know the words to that song. I've been singing those since I was a kid.
Yeah, I know.
I found that on YouTube, and I said, "Oh, I gotta record that."
Yeah, but it's still, still a little dicey. Kind of like,
All right, let's see here. What else do I have? Okay, let me play this. Melanie and I were discussing earlier that there's kind of a UFO Civil War going on, whether you've noticed it or not. But it basically pits Lou Elizondo, whose background is kind of fuzzy, against Stephen Greer with sometimes support from Bob Lazar. Now, if you're into UFOs, those names are not foreign to you. You've heard of them. Now, the funny thing is you've got one person who flaps back and forth between both sides, and that's George Knapp. Because you'll see George Knapp involved with all of these people. George Knapp is the one that had the lie detector tests run on Bob Lazar and showed that he was telling the truth, that everything he said was the truth. So how much you can trust lie detectors, I don't know, but the lie detector said he was telling the truth. There are a ton of these people out there it seems like, first of all, Elizondo came out of nowhere. And it seems like the people who want to have you perceive the UFOs as a threat that needs to be dealt with by the military. This is just the military-industrial complex trying to get you to buy all sorts of fancy, expensive weapons to attack the UFOs. Well, every place where we have attacked UFOs, they have sent our weapons back at us. There were several incidents in Vietnam where some of our patrol boats and jets had confrontations with the UFOs where we fired on them. And there was an Australian ship sunk during the Vietnam War by missiles fired from one of our jets. But the jet was firing at a UFO. And the UFO redirected the missile and hit this Australian ship. Now, I wasn't there. I don't know how much of that is true and how much of it is just hooey, but that's the story. Melanie?
Well, there have been a number of incidents with, connections between that UFOs are somewhere in the mix where people have had injury. However, most of them seem to have been incidental exposure, and including one death. But it certainly, if they wanted to, with their level of technology, they could lay everything flat. Now, this is my personal opinion based on everything I've read, including John Keel's work, Jacques Vallée, and various people. I think it's a combination of our future selves and the other ultra-dimensionals, whatever you want to call them. So I don't think anything is going to try to destroy us. They could have done that a long time ago. I think if anything, there has certainly been some evidence of something in orbit that is deflecting things from us. I think, possibly all these things may be the case. We also have to consider that we're talking about Pentagon people, and that's what Elizondo is. Pentagon people are naturally going to have a war footing. And we have to remember, these aliens are not, at least to the degree we are, primates. And we see it from a primate perspective. These guys are looking at these guys as, oh, they're coming in, they have ships, they must be getting to kill us. And it's not the case. So we have to be the sane ones in the middle to keep the wackos in the clear. I have problems with both Elizondo and Greer, and I've talked to my brother about them. I'm very concerned about both of them. I absolutely think Bob Lazar is a physicist. I believe he studied where he said he studied. He has passed several
All
I
you
don't
got
know
to do
if
is
they were
listen.
all lie detectors, but they were, methods of getting at the truth. And he's, he's a very smart man. All you have to do is listen to him, for God's sake.
Oh, they say he has no education. He finished last in his class in high school. Listen to the guy talk.
Now, granted, he signed an NDA, so he's not supposed to be talking. But only, what they say, 47% of NDAs are obeyed. So
Well,
there's a whole lot of people talking.
in Lazar's book, he explains why he has felt like he could talk about it, because he said that the government violated his contract.
That's right, I remember.
And tried to kill him a couple of times, tried to kill him. So he said that he didn't feel any obligation to them when they did that to him.
Right.
So like I say, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But we
have power entities. By entities, I mean governmental entities, not on both sides, trying to affect everything. And we have to just slap them upside the head and say, go to your corners. And we have to stay in the middle and deduce things with a modicum of respect for all of these people. Most of them mean well, I think. I think they're just, in some cases, heavily swayed by some belief system. And there may be the political one, certainly. But they wouldn't be in the fields they're in, However, I was very optimistic after seeing one of the last episodes of Skinwalker Ranch when Travis Taylor said, okay, those are UAPs, but that thing is a UFO. And he actually said UFO.
Yeah, I saw that episode. Like I was talking to you about earlier, I have noticed that the term UAP, they tend to lump that in together on the shows that are trying to make you believe that the UFOs are a threat. So they don't call them UFOs, they call them UAPs. Now, that term was nowhere before Lou Elizondo came around. And like they've had people do research on Elizondo, and they can't find any kind of background with him in the government. He supposedly was in charge of this UFO thing, and the government says they never heard of him. So I don't know what's going on.
That's what they say about everything,
Well, that's what they say about Lazar. Half of the stuff that the government says about Lazar is hooey.
Yeah.
And if you want to hear Bob Lazar's side of it, on Audible, they have Bob Lazar's audiobook. And he describes what went on, what made him feel like he didn't need to keep quiet about this anymore, and the reason he felt that way. So if you're interested and you wonder about Lazar, listen to his audiobook. And he gives a lot of information. There's another one on there called The Hunt for the Skinwalker. That's a good one to listen to. It gives you a lot of the history before Bigelow went there. Have you listened to that?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, a long time ago. It's the thing to remember too is that there's so much. If you research the backgrounds of some of these people on all sides, you'll find out interesting things. And I think whenever you're dealing with any kind of situation, do research, Google some, before you start believing anything, even stuff we say. Do the research. Go out there and look. And don't believe what you want to believe. Believe what the circumstances and the material tell you. And I personally...
Of course, you can believe anything I tell you. You can believe.
Oh, of course. Well, you know. But you probably want to look into things I tell you. But
no, Melanie's right. Melanie's right.
But there are a lot of people, you know, when you look at some of the backgrounds of our previous, the media recognized them as being the good and holy. People like Bill Nye, the science guy, Mr. Bill Nye, the engineer bachelors.
Bill Nye has a bachelor's degree in manufacturing engineering and has nothing to do with climate. He doesn't know any more about climate than I do.
Exactly.
So
anything he says is I just don't listen to him anymore.
Now, Stephen Greer believes in climate change. So, hey, believe it. So if you believe in climate change, Stephen Greer's your guy.
I believe we need to do something about the climate, and I think being 104 outside right now, that's normal for the desert.
Yeah,
However,
it's normal.
It's 108 in Portland, so that's not normal. So something is askew.
But you have times when it gets hotter in places than it usually does. And, you know, I remember when we were kids, they had hot spells and droughts and things like that. What I don't like is when the government takes that and uses that as an excuse to tax you more. Well, that's what I don't like. If they're legitimately, just in my opinion, the thing I would like to see them address immediately is all that plastic floating in the ocean.
Definitely.
Now, there was talk by, I forget if it was Branson or Elon or who it was, but they were talking about building a autonomous barge that would sail the ocean, picking up plastic as it goes. And then when they needed to, it would dock someplace and they would take the plastic off and process it.
Right.
Well, you know, all that stuff that we put into recycle bins, 90% of that ends up in the ocean.
Yeah, I know. In fact, John Oliver did a good piece on that how little is actually recycled of what we put in recycling bins. And it's very disappointing. Now, the two things coming out of the opening of the physics realm to regular people, the two things coming out of that will be better choices for energy that will be just a much better choice in terms of money in, product out, and anything to do with our utilities will be improved. Now, if that benefits the environment, cool.
Now, what do you think of reverse engineering UFOs? Do you think that's going on?
Yeah, I no, having grown up with two engineers, I can imagine that would be the case. And our father was an engineer, and Mark is an engineer. It's just the way, and my brain is sort of like that too. We just want to pick things apart and put it back together and figure out, as we do every week on this show. So I think it's being done. I think Larry has told me things he saw and he was in a position to see those things.
Hey, we're good. Skunk works.
Yes, he did. And they are, who knows? But I think that some of that's going on. I don't think it's gone very far. I certainly don't think that they're the ones up there flying and what they have is at our level of technology, which is, still very primitive. And if we can get beyond that, and
Jessica Wolf wants to know, what is UFO? You're not familiar with that term? It's unidentified flying object is what UFO stands for. And they're trying to get away from the UFO term now, and they're using this UAP term. So that's what we're talking about when we say UFOs.
I think one of the reasons behind the UAP is to put forth the idea that it's not an object so much as it is a phenomenon. And
okay. I got you.
So I think that's one of the reasons is these things, I think, and that's something I loved about Nope, the film I reviewed 2 weeks ago. I won't spoil it, but let's just say the thing was not a flying saucer. The alien presence was something biological.
Well, did you hear about the photon that went to the airport and the TSA agent asked him if he had anything to declare, and the photon said, "No, I'm just traveling light."
Okay. Mark will be here all week. Tip your waiters.
Look up photon and you'll see what the joke, why it was funny. It's bad if you have to look up a joke.
Yeah, well, that tends to be the way in our circle of friends and family. But anyway, suffice to say that anything that helps. Oh, we just lost our viewer. See, that's how bad.
Sorry, Jessica. We were trying to keep you happy.
She seems to be a big fan of Richard. Go to it, Richard. So anyway,
you want to do some research on him next week and put it on there for Jessica?
There you go.
All right, I'll leave that up to you.
Okay.
Find some video we can put on the show.
All right. Anyway, getting back to where I was. Talking about the voices in the media. Be very suspicious of anybody you see who's held up as, oh, well, here's the knowledgeable person. Carl Sagan had been blackmailed for years.
They threatened his wife.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard that before.
Yeah.
But, this is Stephen Greer that said that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see Greer where he doesn't look like a blithering idiot, a lot of these things that they put on YouTube deliberately make him look bad. Watch the movie Unacknowledged. Or what's the other one? Undisclosed, I think is the other one. That Disclosure Project where he was at the New York Press Club. Yeah. He sounds good. That's where I got to where I thought highly of him, is watching that. But, we got about 30 seconds here.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, thank
gotta
you
wrap it up.
for staying with us if you did. And if you didn't, we forgive you. We'll be back next week with more paranormal. I have a guest, and you'll hear all about it during the week. Bye.
All righty. You guys take it easy, and we'll see you next week. And let's see here. Where's the stuff? I'm going to play us on out. So, good night.
Good night.